So she hands me a sandwich and says, "This is what I think you're worth." I look at it and I say, "That's more than I thought." You know what I mean? Yeah. No, I agree. That one was stupid. Yeah. No, I didn't think it was funny either. No. What's up, guys? Nate here with the Late Nate Show. Alright guys, so today we are going to compare, once again, 5 things from now to 5 things back in the 90s on a segment I like to call Now and Then 90s. You guys ready? Today we are going to cover the PS4 VR versus the Nintendo Virtual Boy, Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle versus the original Jumanji, Redbox versus Blockbuster Video, Romphims versus Jean Overalls, and Pepsi Fire versus Crystal Pepsi. Since its launch on October 13th of 2016, the PlayStation VR has sold over 1 million units, which is nothing to sneeze at. The VR is designed to be fully functional with the PlayStation 4 home console, and in certain games and demos, the player wearing the headset acts differently than other players not wearing the headset, which is pretty cool. The headset offers a high-resolution screen with the ability to be projected onto a TV simultaneously, so you can see what the player wearing it sees. It also has 9 positional LEDs on its surface to track 360-degree head movement. With over 50 games to choose from, you have plenty of options on how to fully enjoy and experience the new PlayStation VR headset. It's okay. However, in 1995, there was a different headset being released.
It came from the 3rd dimension, with its own brain, its own voice, its own legs. There's only one problem. It needs your eyes.
No.
Virtual Boy. See it now in 3D.
Launched on August 16th of 1995, the Virtual Boy offered a 32-bit tabletop video game console capable of displaying stereoscopic 3D graphics. Unfortunately, right out of the gate, the Virtual Boy was panned by critics and deemed a commercial failure. After failing to hit target sales goals due to its high price, poor display, unimpressive 3D effect, lack of true portability, health concerns, and low-quality games, Nintendo ceased production of the Virtual Boy by early 1996. Now, being a former Virtual Boy owner, I can say at first it was fun and exciting. But shortly after playing the games a few times, I realized that I valued my vision and decided it was not worth it anymore. So between the PS4 VR and the Virtual Boy, I would have to give it to the PlayStation VR as the winner. Even though I haven't even tried it yet, being a previous Virtual Boy owner, I can tell you most things like sitting and staring at a wall for fun would be better for you.
Yo, what's this?
Bring that one back.
A game for those who seek to find a way to leave their world behind. Jumanji.
Alright, so Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle is set to come out with Christmas of this year. The premise for this one is basically you have 4 teenagers that get detention, and while serving detention they have to clean out a school basement, and they find a vintage video game called Jumanji. And instead of cleaning out the basement, like they probably should be doing during detention, they decide to play the game instead, which, I don't blame them. It'd be more fun. And, if they would have continued cleaning the basement, I just don't know if that would have really had much of a kick to it as far as the film goes. So they get pulled into the game. They choose between 4 characters. First character is Dr. Smolder Bravestone. It's a pretty cool name. It's played by Dwayne Johnson, The Rock.
It's me, Spencer. I don't have my Claritin, and all I see around here is pollen.
The second character of the game is Franklin Moose Finbar, also a pretty cool name. That's played by Kevin Hart.
Fridge?
Yeah, I'm Fridge. Who are you?
Well, I don't have the top 2 feet of my body.
The third one is Professor Shelley Oberon, which is played by Jack Black.
So that means
Bethany?
Oh, wait, Bethany?
Don't look at it. No!
I'm an overweight middle-aged man. I don't.
And the fourth character is Ruby Roundhouse. Also, that's an interesting name, kind of cool. And it's played by Karen Gillan.
Martha?
Why am I wearing half a shirt and short shorts in the jungle?
So you have the four characters, they're playing the game, and it's kind of, if you guys have seen the first one, we'll get to it here in a minute. It's it's crazy. It's a jungle. So you got rhinos and looks like hippos, and then you've got what appears to be. Now here's the thing. I froze this and I looked at it and I tried to figure out what type of animal that is. I can't even really tell. It looks like it could be a hippo, could be some type of lion or tiger or some type of cat, perhaps. I can't really tell. I mean, they don't let you know, so they keep the mystique alive a little bit. But I mean, we call it large animal statue, so that's pretty cool. And then based on the previews, which is all we got going right now anyway. It looks like you also got Nick Jonas making an appearance in a helicopter, and Bobby Cannavale. I think I'm saying his last name right. I don't know. I've seen him in other movies though. But this guy, he looks like he's going to be the villain. I know nothing about him, but just that look in his eye and the way he's holding it, I mean, that's a villain. That's a villain right there. So, also you got people on motorcycles and a couple of fight scenes. So, it'll probably be filled with action. No idea how good the plot will be, but I'll probably check this out come Christmas time.
Maybe we're all in a coma.
What?
That old game machine must have electrocuted us, and now we're all... Oh my God! You better get in there and save her.
I'm not gonna get in there. You get in there.
I got a backpack on. You don't get in water with a backpack. Everybody knows that.
However, back in the 90s, the first Jumanji film came onto the scene.
What year is it?
1995, remember?
And I like that. Jumanji was released on December 15th of 1995. The film initially had a lukewarm reception, but went on to earn over $260 million worldwide, making it the 10th highest grossing movie of 1995. The premise of the film is about a boy named Alan Parrish who finds a board game called Jumanji. He brings it home and then decides to play with his friend, Sarah, and then he gets sucked into the game.
What's happening to you?
For 26 years. No big deal. Then in 1995, two kids who have just moved into the house find the board game. Side note, their parents had just died in a skiing accident. Why? I don't know. I don't know why they decided to include that. It just seems, unnecessary. But it's okay. It's whatever. This is a family film. Most people are going there to escape the hardships of their life, and enjoy something on the weekend. And why not escape the sadness? I know that's what everybody wants in a film. But anyway, the two kids start playing the board game, and crazy things start happening, like big mosquitoes and monkeys and weird stuff basically starts coming out of the game. The game rules state, though, that everything will be restored when the game ends, so the kids keep playing. As they play, they release Alan back into 1995 from the board game, who is now played by Robin Williams. Once Robin Williams / Alan Parrish is back with them, he says, hey, we need to find my friend Sarah, who started playing the game with me, because the game is particular to the players. You can't just have anybody play for her. So they find Sarah. Sarah's, a little crazy from watching Alan get sucked in 26 years ago, which, I can't say I blame her. But after she gets past her mental trauma because of it, or, pushes it to the side, however she deals with it, she decides to start playing the game with them, which in turn causes more crazy things to happen. But eventually, not to give away the ending, things work out for the better. Now I gotta say, Jumanji, since it came out in 1995, I will give them credit. They did a pretty good job with the special effects on this one. I mean, they had big mosquitoes, they had monkeys, they had rhinos, they had a crocodile, they had spiders. It's like the jungle is literally just taking over the house, and they make it seem like the rest of the world too, which who knows. But anyway, yeah, they did a pretty good job with the special effects. Not a bad film overall. Now, between the two, to be honest with you, I think this new one, Welcome to the Jungle, honestly, it might end up being better. I mean, it's going to be more lighthearted, probably, because, it doesn't have any unnecessarily dead parents. So that's always a good thing. Okay, let me stop this right here. Now, I don't know if you guys can tell, but this is a locally made, very low budget Redbox commercial. One of the few that I could find online, so bear with me on this. Now, the first thing that I noticed about this is they're playing the song You Had a Bad Day in a video store, implying that you're going to have a bad experience being in a video store. Secondly, she's annoyed that she's waiting in line to try to check out when the cashier appears to be occupied. But let me tell you something. At Redboxes, you're going to have lines too. If you think there aren't, you need to go to more Redboxes, because I've waited in several lines trying to get up to a Redbox machine. Thirdly, what's up with the girl that is strangely smiling waiting in line? She has 8 Xbox games in her hand trying to rent all of them at the same time, and she actually seems to be enjoying the experience. Alright, let's watch the rest of the commercial. Okay, so the slogan is quick, easy, and cheap. And like I said before, it's not always quick at a Redbox. Lines can be long, and the most frustrating thing about a Redbox, to be honest with you, is if you haven't reserved a movie and you're waiting in line, you finally get up to the actual Redbox machine, and then you discover the movie that you want to rent isn't even available. Someone else has already taken it. Most likely someone that you were waiting behind in that line. Also, it talks about being cheap. Okay, now it can be cheap if you rent a game or a movie for $1 and you get it back on time, but if you don't, they hit you with late fees also, so they're going to be making their money one way or another. It's not like you're just getting a fantastic deal every time you rent from a Redbox. But back in the 90s, you had Blockbuster Video.
Imagine the perfect video store. It would have a great selection, right? Right, over 10,000 videos.
That sounds pretty good to me.
3 evening rentals, so no rush, no hassle. Fast checkout, 24-hour quick drop return, open late every night. Well, the perfect video store.
Welcome to Blockbuster Video.
Is popping up all over the country. There's one near you.
Blockbuster Video. Wow, what a difference.
In 1990, they had over 250 stores across the US, and they continued to grow all throughout the 90s until early 2000s as well. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm not trying to make this sound one-sided, but I obviously prefer the experience of going to a video store. Honestly, I miss it. I think it was a fun experience, especially as a kid on the weekend. You get in the car, you go with your parents to the store, you're like, oh man, I'm going to rent this video game, or I'm going to rent this movie, and I'm going to get some candy and maybe popcorn, and who knows, maybe I'll see a cute girl while I'm there. All that fun stuff could have been a possibility, or was a possibility back then. Unfortunately, now that is no longer an option. As of 2011, Blockbuster filed bankruptcy. All the video stores pretty much across the US have kind of dried up, so you don't really have that option anymore. There are a few maybe mom and pop video stores still available today, but for the most part, your options are Netflix, if you want to get online, iTunes, other websites, or Redbox. So you make your choice at the end of the day. Now, between the two, you may have already guessed it, I'm going to go with Blockbuster Video. I miss that experience more so than the actual video game or the movie as well. I wish they would bring that back, but what can you do? Whatever goes through people's minds when they create something can be brilliant or just downright awful. Unfortunately, this one is the latter. Alright, so the Romphim, which is basically a women's romper for men, is one of the top worst things that happened in 2017, by my opinion. The people that started it created a Kickstarter page with hopes to raise over $10,000 to kickstart the Romphim. And actually, as you can see, they've raised over $360,000 from more than over 3,100 people. So apparently other people think the Romphim is a good idea too. I find this pretty hilarious actually. The first question on the frequently asked questions page for the Romphim is, who is this for? And the answer is anyone who wants to make a statement. Well, actually it says anyone wants to make a statement, but I think that's what they were going for. And that statement is, I like to wear adult-sized baby clothes. But back in the 90s, you had another one piece of clothing in men's fashion, the jean overall. Now this was first popularized by Will Smith from Fresh Prince. He kind of started the whole one strap look, and that kind of took off. Honestly, you had people from all different areas of life rocking the jean overalls back in the 90s, from rappers to just everyday people. Women were wearing them as well too. I mean, it was pretty popular back then. The biggest qualm that I would have with this is how do you pee in one of those? You know, I mean, that's got to be a pain. That could cause problems. In addition to that, it's kind of like the opposite of a Romphim, where you don't have much going on up top. Most of the clothing's below, whereas, you know, the Romphim, most of it's up top like a shirt, and then below it's like you're wearing boxers that are fused to your shirt. So between the two, this isn't really a question, honestly. I'm gonna have to go with jean overalls. I mean, the Romphim, I find it hilarious. It's pretty ridiculous, but personally, you're not gonna catch me wearing one.
Try new Pepsi Fire. Get it while it's hot.
I would never have that unless I wanted it. Okay, so the commercial we just saw for Pepsi Fire basically shows regular Pepsi being poured into a glass, and then at the end they're like, oh, by the way, try Pepsi Fire, and tells us absolutely nothing about Pepsi Fire. So I did a little research, and Pepsi Fire actually is cinnamon flavored Pepsi, which honestly on a hot summer day, I don't know how refreshing that sounds. I mean, hot cinnamon, that sounds more like something I would like in the winter time. I mean, who thought, hey, you know what, I've been out, I'm sweating, it's hot outside, I'm gonna cool off with some cinnamon. Yeah, that sounds nice. Now, personally, I haven't tried Pepsi Fire yet. It might actually be really good, but the idea of cinnamon on a hot summer day just does not sound the best to me personally. But back in the 90s, you had another Pepsi being marketed. Okay, let me stop this right now. Right now, artificial doesn't feel right. Well, I got news for you. Crystal Pepsi is just as artificial as regular Pepsi. So this is just downright misleading. All right, carry on. Right now, only wildlife needs preservatives. Once again, Crystal Pepsi has the same preservatives as regular Pepsi. So yeah, that's great. They put a rhino there, make you feel nice about it, but they're lying to you. Right now, someone just got a taste of the future. Well, I hope you enjoyed that taste, because the future is looking pretty short, my friend. Crystal Pepsi was only on the market in the US for about a year and some change back in the 90s. So Crystal Pepsi, when it came out in the 90s, there was a lot of buzz about it. People were intrigued. They're like, wait, is that cola? Because it looks like water. But it was cola, yeah, at the end of the day. It had the same amount of sugar, ingredients. It had tasted the same, except they thought that maybe by marketing it on the premise of it being clear, people would think it's a healthier version of soda. However, as you can see, it is pretty much the exact same thing. I think the 90s version didn't have caffeine in it, that or they just downright lied to you in the commercial. But overall, unfortunately, Crystal Pepsi was not around very long. And then there was a resurge of it actually in 2015, and even now, I think this year you can still buy it in the States in select locations. So it has made a comeback to some degree. Now, between the two, to be honest with you, I have not tried Pepsi Fire. Crystal Pepsi tastes a lot like Pepsi. So honestly, I'm gonna have to go with the Crystal one on this one. It's misleading, the marketing campaign, but you know, it looks cool and it tastes like regular Pepsi. All right, guys, that concludes today's episode. If you liked the episode, give it a big like. It's kind of redundant. If you'd like to become one of the first 1,000 subscribers to the channel, hit that subscribe button and I will give you a free gift. More episodes on me. If there's an idea for a video you would like to see, let me know. I read the comments and I look forward to hearing from you soon.